Good morning, David. We're back at Spiritual Reflections again.
Yes, good morning, Randall. How are
Yeah,
you?
we're coming. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I started to say you're coming from the studios there in North Carolina for the Academy of Spiritual Awakening, and if people didn't know it, I'm here in Columbus, Ohio. So we
Amazing, huh?
it is. The internet has really grown, and Zoom has become really important to the work that we do here at the Academy. And so this is every Wednesday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. People can tune in for a 9-minute conversation. And sometimes we bring in what's going on with us personally, and sometimes we bring in what you're teaching or a new thought that you might have. And you kind of had me take the lead this morning, and I appreciate the series you've been teaching on aligning with your energy blueprint.
Yes, it's gone over really well. So today is the final coming
Yes,
together of that 6-week course. So I've
yes,
enjoyed doing it. I've enjoyed the response that people really have connected to things that they can actually use and change in their life. And that's what we need right now. We need an upgrade of what
yes.
life is.
Well, they have, and you've really been deliberate with this course as a kind of a launching point for the academy locally there in Charlotte, North Carolina. And these teachings on the energy blueprint and others are available at heartlightcharlotte.org. And so if people want to get in on this series that maybe are just tuning in, you can go to that website and pick these teachings up for 90 days. They're there.
Absolutely.
And you know what came up yesterday, really in a broadcast I was listening to, was how that it's really easy these days with everything we have going on politically, internationally, with what's going on in Iran and other locations, to for anger to stay fostered, for
Yes.
our negative energies to always be at the surface. And anytime our energy is occupied like that, and we don't have free energy available to place where we really want our energy to be, it keeps us in survival mode.
Completely. And one of the teachings that I've been very passionate about for a lot of actually decades has been our evolutionary experience, the next step to what it's going to mean to be a human being as we move out of this old model of a 3D model to a new model. If you're from scripture, it's called becoming a new creation. So that tells us that there is like a new evolution experience for humanity, and I'm thankful for that. I would not want to think this is it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If this is the ultimate goal of some loving, kind God to bring us to this level in which we're constantly fighting with entropy and chaos and disease and sickness and so on and so forth, I'd be very discouraged today. But I have hope in the fact that we are just in a middle stage of our evolution, moving
Yes.
from just uh, infants, that lived out of our nervous system before we really became conscious beings in our more adolescence. And now here we are at this level of what I heard someone call uh, homo luminous, or light human being. In other words, in which we are retaining back to our origin and bringing our physiology with us this time. I love that. That whole idea of Jesus physically resurrecting has such a universal metaphysical meaning of telling
Mhm.
us that we can raise ourself all the way to the cellular physical level, that there is hope for a better kind of humanity.
Yes. And that takes deliberate action on our part. It takes responsibility, doesn't it?
It does. And that's the thing that we have let religion think for us. We've let the preachers, the gurus, the whatever think for us. And now people are in a place where they're really going to have to turn within themselves and find that what they've been looking for outside of themselves is all along been inside of them, looking for them. So,
Yes.
and I'm not trying to take away from teachers and ministers and whatever who have allowed people to progress and to grow. Now, I'm not for those who stand in the door and won't go in and let others to go in because narrow is the way,
Yeah.
type of thing. But there has been those, and I hope well, I know I see myself as one who's been changeable, progressive, ready to say, okay, we believe this at this level, but now it's not working at this level, and realize that belief systems are evolutionary within themselves.
Oh, they are, belief systems. And I think the more we decide that belief systems can be like various shirts and clothing that you have in your closet, that you
Mhm.
can take one out, try it on, see if it works and feels good. And if it works and feels good, you wear it that day, but it might not work for you tomorrow. And
Oh,
so beliefs
absolutely.
can be changeable like a suit of clothing. And sometimes we outgrow them, don't we?
Yeah, I'm kind of going through that with my clothes right now. I'm getting rid of things that don't work anymore, and then there's some things that just don't I don't like. I liked it at one time, but I don't like it
Yeah.
now. So yeah,
Right.
that's a good example. Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at mine. I'm getting ready to pack to come down to visit you guys tomorrow for a few days. And I was just looking, I don't have any summer shirts. So I'm going to have to make a stop down there somewhere and buy a couple of summer shirts, to wear. I have t-shirts, but, I need some polo type shirts. So
Sure.
we'll be shopping, shopping a little bit.
Of course, always.
Well, and that's one thing I've seen through this course of your energy blueprint is, that idea keeps returning of deliberate participation and taking responsibility for what you're doing and how you're being. It's kind of like the idea of being in the world but not of it. We have all this turmoil going on, but we don't have to drop into it and become the turmoil.
Exactly. I really like that, what you just quoted, be in the world, but not of the world. If you look at that through more present truth, now that we understand things like the Matrix and the idea of how that movie presented a challenge to all of us, are we caught in some
Mhm.
kind of a matrix of being controlled as human beings? And that's the world we live in. So here comes this teacher, this guy who sees beyond that and says, now I'm going to teach you to be in the world, but not of the world. Then I'm going to teach you how to move out of the world completely into another dimension of existence. So I really
Yeah.
like that scripture, that it's not, the ultimate goal is not to be in the world and of the world. It's out of the world, out of the matrix, out of the control of this 3D world that we know only those at the top that has really held the power over us. And I think we're in a time, Randall, of a power distribution
Yes.
redistribution
Redistribution.
of our energy and our power. And I think we're all kind of confused with that because things are shifting so much, even financially in our life. Where's the money going? Where's it coming from? How's it going to get to me? How am I going to use money? So that's just one thing. But our health, everything is kind of in a place in which we're just not certain. And that's called the principle of uncertainty, which
Yeah.
was Heisenberg came to that you really can't tell how things are going to pop up because they're not in stone, but they're actually our own consciousness being extended into form.
Well, and it feels like, kind of the fabric is being torn of our belief systems, are being torn torn apart, so that maybe we might peek beyond them, or something else might kind of break through, as that tearing is going on. And I think it's really causing all of us to take a look at how we've been with ourselves, what's really most important, what's most essential to our living, and how do we want to flow our attention energy, that spiritual energy, you might say, in the use of our time and our life energy and our resources. Um,
Absolutely.
where do we want to place all of those efforts, and in what way? And it's causing me to come back and regrounding and just some basic, principles to live by that have always worked, and that I get distracted from.
Yes, very much. There's always distraction to deal with, but uh, a lot of distraction going on right now to look over
Yeah.
here, but this is what's going on over here. So discernment, I guess, is the important thing to make yourself know what is distraction and what is actually alignment. What's
Yes.
going on with you?
Well, and I want to pull people's attention back to the Academy and to davidhulse.com to let them know they can go there and get a free sampling of what's available at the Academy. And at the Academy, there are courses there that aren't just knowledge, but are also offer practices because, the day of just listening and taking in all this information, I think, is fading, and being more deliberate in our actions and tools that the Academy brings to people to go through that transition from seeking to, all the way up to awakening, is really important that you have practices, and you've provided that to us at the Academy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I've always enjoyed our time
Yeah,
together. We we have this available to those who will hear it, and but we also entered into the collective
we do.
unconsciousness of a planet. So
Yeah,
it's available. It's just like on AI, all that knowledge was gathered up to be available. Well, on
yeah,
this, we're gathering up information to be put out there that's available.
we are. And thank you for your time. It's a pleasure, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, you too. Have a great day.
Take care.
And gentle healing I am open.